Tick-tock, time to rock. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's watching from all over the world. It is your friendly neighborhood philosopher here, D. Wood. And what is going on with that? What is this?
Why did your voice just break when you said time to rock?
I didn't. It didn't. Probably your stupid headphones.
Man.
I'm wondering here.
You wondered?
Come on, man. I haven't been getting much sleep lately. Too much going on. I don't know why you'd expect me to be coherent in any way. I'm wondering.
Because you were watching the game between America and Australia.
Yeah, sadly, I saw that. I saw the score because it was on. I don't know why X keeps showing me this stuff. I have zero interest. But I did, because it was an amazing, shocking victory of Team USA. The first time they've won 2 in a row since 1930. I was like, what? You guys suck, man. This is the first time you've won 2 World Cup games in a row since 1930.
Dude,
That's almost a century.
The World Cup is a very serious contest, and the USA has had a tendency of being bad at it. So right now they're being very, very good at it, and that's pretty incredible.
Now, there's only one light at the end of the tunnel, and that's that their next game is against
The Turks.
Turks, or
The
as
Turks.
someone would say, the Turds.
The Turds.
That should be your national team name, man. The Turkey
That's-
Turks.
I came up with a solution, which
Turkey
was a
Turds.
while ago. I said that that Turkey and
And the Kurds. I remember.
Turkey
I remember. I stole that from you. I just said,
should
don't talk about the
peacefully
Turds.
unite their country and call it Turdistan. A very good solution. And they're talking about how Turkey is a country for Turks, and you have to be a Turk and a nationalist and all that. And the Kurdish population, much of them, they don't want to accept it. They want autonomy. So problem solved. Call it Turdistan. Mixing Turk and Kurd. Turdistan. Beautiful solution, man.
And then
Beautiful.
their team would be the Turdistan Turds.
Yes.
I have to admit, people would start liking them more because they'd be like, all right, these guys got a sense of humor about them.
True.
We'd start saying, okay, you guys did have all that genocide back in the day, but at least since then you've gotten a sense of humor about
Everybody makes
yourselves.
mistakes.
But they won't do it,
Everybody-
man. They won't do it. They're too arrogant. Turks are too. Show me a more arrogant group on the planet than the Turks, man.
There is none.
There is none, exactly. Okay. So we had a few options for what we're going to cover here. There were some videos. You might not have seen it. Did you know that Bobby's Perspective just did a video about you and your biggest lie ever?
What? I haven't watched any Bobby's Perspective video in my entire life, so I don't know.
Neither have I, but no, we've gone through one or two of his videos at some point. But yeah, his new video was Apostate Prophet's biggest lie exposed.
What did I lie about? I'm curious now.
It was something Muhammad and Aisha or something like that. But I clicked on it. I watched it for like 10 seconds. I don't even know if I clicked on the beginning or the end or whatever. But he was saying, you're accusing Muhammad of whatever. And he's going, but Jesus impregnated his own mother. That's incest. And I was like, oh, man, we need to watch this just to show how stupid this guy is every once in a while.
Wait, what's the lie? I don't understand.
That Muhammad and Aisha. Was it Muhammad and Aisha? Is that what it's about, or is it something else? Because there's, if he's responding to you saying something about something sick and twisted Muhammad did, there's a variety of options, let's just say, that he could be responding to. Or he might have been responding to some of the grooming gang stuff.
I don't really know.
Because we've been covering that. Well, do I seriously have to go and look it up? Anyway.
He responded to my interview on Winston Marshall's podcast. That hurts, doesn't it?
Thanks for
That
the
hurts you, doesn't it?
advertisement. Thanks for the advertisement, Bobby's Perspective. Keep
That
talking about it.
hurts you, doesn't it? You
Yeah.
wanted people like David and me and others to be gone. Like, oh, they're going to disappear anyway. We're going to
Yeah.
refute them. We're going to
Yeah,
call them
Bobby's
liars. They're going to
Perspective.
go away.
Hey,
And
Bobby's
suddenly
Perspective.
I pop up at Winston Marshall. It hurts you, doesn't it?
Hey, Bobby's Perspective. How about you watch, like, and share that video,
Yeah.
that interview? How about you do that, man? You're already helping us advertise, so just go all the way, man. Okay, so that's what he was responding to. Yeah, but in there, that's when he's like, the part I clicked on at least, he doesn't even understand his own God committed incest by impregnating his own mother.
Dude, what? This guy's obsessed with me. I had no idea. I never about this guy, but I'm just checking. I just searched for Bobby's Perspective Apostate Prophet, and now I find that he has had multiple videos about me in the past. And
Hey,
within the
Bobby's
last,
Perspective, how's that feel? Knowing you're such a loser that the guy whose attention you keep trying to get, the guy who's you keep clout chasing. Am I using that correctly? Clout chasing?
yes,
Could he be said to be clout chasing you?
yes,
Okay. The guy you've been clout chasing doesn't even know you exist. How does that feel? That's like the person you're in love with having no clue that you even exist. How's that feel? That make you
it
feel
is a bit
small,
cruel.
make you feel insignificant, make
It's a
you
bit
feel like
cruel.
a loser?
It's a little bit cruel.
It's a little bit
And this is
cruel.
funny. The last video he made about me was 4 months ago. Apostate prophet, pretend Christian in Israel. And then he put a fake tweet on the screen where I say I worship the Jews. Dude. But the funniest thing about this, the funniest issue
What's
about
funny is
this,
these dudes sometimes crack me up.
but the funniest thing about this is that I haven't even seen what he says, but in that video, he's reviewing a conversation I had with Messianic Jews, aka Christians, in Israel, which was a full-on pro-Christianity, including inviting Jews to Christianity conversation. This is the weirdest example to take to say that I'm pretending to be a Christian and that I'm actually worshiping the Jews. Is there's if there is one thing of everything that I did over the last years that would really offend and upset Jews, including those who have supported me, it would be to go and speak with the Messianic Jews and basically profess the truth of Christianity, the divinity of Christ, and even inviting Jews to Christianity. This is like the many of the Jews who have supported me at that point would be like, no, what are you doing, man? This is the example that he takes to say that I worship Jews and that I'm pretending to be a Christian. Dude, there was a moment. That is a moment where I dared to do something that is not at all popular with the people that I'm in Israel with, the Jews. What kind of a stupid example is this? This guy is so damn clueless. It's ridiculous, man.
Um, he used to be somewhat. He used to be like
Wait,
mildly
there's
popular
another
back in the day.
video. There's another video about me. Apostate prophet loves white men. What is this?
Yes, he loves white men, unlike Muhammad, who loves black men. The black men of Al Zut.
The apostate prophet is he loves white men. He wants white men to do to him what the men of Al-Zud did to my prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Oh man. So anyway, dude. Yeah, I
What
saw
is this?
that, and I saw that, and then there's the debate between Gavin Ortlund and some De Young. Is it De Young? Is he a priest or is he just a guy? He's a priest.
Father Stephen DeYoung. Yeah, he's a
Okay,
priest.
okay. So yeah, they had their debate, which we want to take a look at some point. But so anyway, I was, and we've covered the grooming gangs for a couple times already. So I wasn't sure about the Michael Knowles thing. And then I just clicked on the beginning. And it was where they give you the preview of stuff that's coming later in the video. I only saw the beginning, but it's where they give you the preview of what's coming later. And she was talking about once she started talking about what had happened with the grooming gangs and was on some news program. She said she was ordered before it started, do not under any circumstances talk about their race and blah 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 blah. And it's like you're not even allowed to say that it was Pakistanis. You can't say that on the news. And so she's just supposed to say like random faceless guys were doing this stuff in gangs in Rotherham because she was from Rotherham, guys. That's where that was the first like big story that broke when someone did the study and showed 1,400 girls in just that one little city. And so she was a former victim in that from that city. She was all grown up. She started exposing stuff. And then she goes on the news and they say, whatever you mention, whatever you say, do not talk about where these guys are from or their race or ethnicity or anything like that. Don't touch that stuff. And I was like, oh, man, now that's pretty messed up. Now I want to see how she responded. So anyway, decided to go with that one.
Nice.
But I think we should. Because it's kind of cruel, man. It's kind of cruel to poor Bobby if he's been trying all these years to get your attention. It's kind of cruel for you to just ignore him forever. You know what I mean?
The thing is, when now that I see that he made 3 videos about me over the last year or so, I'm kind of, oh wait a minute, not 3, 4 videos. I just found another one. Now that I see that he has made 4 videos about me over the last year, I'm kind of curious to see what kind of stuff he said, but I can't find it in me to actually sit down and watch it, honestly. So I don't think I will actually listen to any of it.
No, you don't need to. We just watch it live sometime and make fun of it. That's the fun part, man. Don't mention their
down.
race. They were ghosts. Ash Mays is correct.
I listened to her speak on stage in London, and she is quite a she is very popular, very passionate about this, Sammy, and she has the legitimate story behind her as well. So I am curious to see what she says.
Yeah, and that is again, it's really sucks that lots of girls in the UK, to the tune of at least 250,000, so 250,000, were victims of these grooming gangs. It is good. What's good now is that now they can at least come forward and start calling these guys out and exposing these guys because these girls are grown up now. And, if this was happening to girls in the 80s, just by the time they're growing up in the 90s, you're not allowed to say anything. You're a racist. And so we've just recently gotten past the idea that if these girls say anything about their attacks, that they have to be racist. Now people are actually giving them opportunities to say exactly what happened. And anyone who has a problem with it can shut their pie holes. That's what I say. Anyone who's got a problem with these girls speaking out can shut their pie holes. All right.
Indeed.
All right, we're ready to jump in. Let's take these first super chats, and then we'll jump into the interview. Michael Knowles. You know what I just noticed? His name is spelled like, because I had to type it in. His name is spelled like no less.
I know.
I'd change my name if my name was no less. Michael No Less. No Less. That's not a good name for. It's not a smart sounding name. I know less. Some names just have to be changed, everyone. No late jokes today. That's good. Truth has been delayed enough. Prayers for healing and justice in the UK. Also, come to Dallas, Fort Worth, the airport. Islam is trying to take over. Oh, yeah. It is weird. Most of the stuff we hear about Islam from the Dawa guys in the U.S. and stuff is like all Texas. And it's like, isn't that the last place you guys should want to screw around? Texas? Seriously?
I will be in Dallas next month.
Yeah.
and I will be meeting up with everybody. I posted about it too. I'll post about it again. But anybody who wants to meet up, um, you may come down, and we shall meet down in Dallas next month when there is DebateCon.
Yeah,
Inshallah.
I think I was in Dallas for, was that the first debate con or the second debate con? But I was down there. There was a terrorist attack like 15 minutes away at a Jewish synagogue, like while I'm debating. There's a terrorist attack.
Wow.
Pretty crazy. Anyway, yes, your wish is granted. AP will be coming to Dallas to stop the Islamic takeover.
Yes, I will officially stop it.
AP, in the new season of My Adventures with Superman, they made Raven of the Teen Titans a hijabi. Thoughts? Trigon equals Jabril. I know who Trigon is. He got something on his head, right? Like a symbol or a third eye or something like. I don't remember. I haven't been paying attention to that stuff in a long time. And then Raven, don't know who that is.
I had to Google My Adventures with Superman to check if it's actually a real thing because it sounded kind of weird. I don't really watch anything that has Superman in it or anything like that. So, um,
Because you're jealous of his tights.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about it.
Yeah, we'd have to check that out. It's cool if
I'm not
she's a
very much.
hijabi though.
I'm not much into superhero stuff, and I know this is a very unpopular thing, but that's just how I am. Even when I was a kid, I was like, I remember people gathering around and watching superhero stuff, and I was this little kid, and I was like, bunch of children.
Greeks and Turkey should unite and call themselves Philistia. No, the Greeks will never submit to that, nor will the Turks. But Greeks and Turks need to go ahead and fight it out again. You don't watch modern UFC, huge opportunity loss. D Wood, I heard you say since 2018 something changed with Dawa when Khabib beat McGregor in 18. That's when Muslims got emboldened. AP hosted a revert who cited that as her reason.
Oh
Khabib
yeah,
beating McGregor?
no, she was inspired by him and his attitude. That was what the heck? What happened to her? I forgot about her. I even forgot her name. She was around a few years ago. She was this niqabi white girl who publicly converted to Islam, and then she disappeared. I don't even know what happened to her. And she was very nice to me always, and I even had a very honest conversation with her and made her think about Muhammad's marriage to Aisha and all that. So I mean no disrespect. I just really forgot what her name is.
You see? AP says her name isn't even worth recalling. But my goodness, how stupid. Yeah, it's always interesting how certain people zero in on, okay, you've got one fighter in one sort of generation of fighters, not even one little part of a generation of fighters who wins, and he's Muslims, and Muslims, you see, this is the proof. Then if you have like boxing heavyweight champion of the world who's a Catholic or a Orthodox Christian, whoever, that's never the proof. If Muhammad Ali converts to Islam, then that's the proof. If someone else, if a Christian or an atheist, whoever, anyone else wins some championship, it's not relevant at all. And that's kind of dawah. They sort of fixate on anything that they can point to and say, see, this is the proof. It's just like, Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world. Yeah, due to birth rates right now, because other places modernized. But that has changed over the centuries. Was a different religion the true religion in other times when something else was the fastest growing religion? Is that how it works? And if 2 years from now some other religion is the fastest growing religion in the world, will that be the proof? No, it will be completely irrelevant. So only things that can be interpreted by some stretch of the imagination to support Islam in any way, no matter how stupid, is conclusive proof of Islam. That's weird stuff, man. You Turks
Oh
are
no, I
weird.
remember. Her name was Milan. She said back then that the way Habib was really inspired her and encouraged her to become a Muslim. I know that.
I You might want to look her up because we know between 60 and 70% of people who revert to Islam leave within a couple years. So,
Yeah,
I'm
that,
guessing. I'm guessing if they did not get her married to a Muslim and pregnant a couple of times, that there's a good chance she left Islam at some point or just lost interest. Still grifting Woods. How about you go debate and defend your positions instead of saying, I don't know, and attacking others? So Christian of you. I can't tell if this is joking or not because I just agreed to debate. I just agreed to 2 debates with your hero of the Orthobros AP, Jay Dyer. We're going to be debating at DebateCon 9. 2 debates, 2 debates.
oh yeah, then why aren't you debating the Orthodox then?
It's literally
Why
what
you
I'm doing. The
Christian?
final battle between the Orthodox and everyone else will be fought at DebateCon 9 in Orlando. D. Wood, you beat us in the world's best sport.
They beat me in the desert.
They beat. Oh, yeah, that was Australia. Isn't that a big sport down in Australia? How's that feel? How's that feel knowing that you guys got beat by a country where that sport is like the 200th most important sport?
To be fair,
What?
it is a big sport down in Australia. However, Australians suck at it. So,
Oh, well, there's that. They're too busy cuddling koalas and stuff down there. Actually,
to be fair, Australians suck at everything.
they have that rugby stuff down there though, right? And they don't wear pads, so they actually have a tough sport, unlike the effeminate soccer. They actually have a legitimately tough sport. So they just like crash into each other, and their bones shatter.
Well, the thing is, the Australians aren't good at anything at all. So they just suck at it.
Wrong,
Australians just suck.
wrong.
That's it.
They're really good at
Well,
tossing a shrimp on the barbie. By the way, what the heck does that mean? That's like putting a shrimp on the barbecue? Like what? Like a little shrimp? Like what? Like what do you put a steak on the barbecue, man? What the heck does that even mean? Anyway, Englishmen here, thank you again for covering this. Yes, everyone needs to cover this. And everyone, I'll say it again, everyone needs to read the Grooming Gang report, take screenshots, share stuff all over the place. You don't want this to once again get people's attention for a week or something like that, and then people go back to oh, only racists would keep drawing attention. That's why you keep bringing it up. Looks like an important live stream. If this issue doesn't wake up the West, nothing will. Raymond Ibrahim just did a live stream on the Great Gangs. Maybe you should bring him on. Oh, yeah, I should. Raymond Ibrahim is awesome. Legend status.
hey, wait a minute. Dario Marik says AP Turkey and Paraguay are having a match in a few hours. Who do you support? Who do you think I support? Dario, of course, I will support Paraguay,
Yeah,
despite the
everyone
fact
will.
that I do not care at all about Paraguay, but I do support them against Turkey.
Greetings, Earthling. Greetings, Earthling Wingaling. Warp Factor 5, engage.
You know what's funny, man? You make fun of Mike Winger just because he named his fans Wingerlings,
Uh-huh.
while your fans are literally called the Woodies.
No, they're not.
you you call your fans the Woodies.
Never said any
Woodies.
such thing.
Woodies. Woodies. Hello, Woodies.
My fans
Woodies
are
was
my
Wingerlings.
fans are called the Sinister Icy Hand of Death Club.
The Woodies versus the Wingerlings.
That's not even funny, man. AP, did you check Christopher Svocek out? Hey man, did you check
No, I
out
didn't. No,
Christopher
I didn't.
Svocek?
No, I didn't.
Ha! You don't know what you're missing. Not familiar with him. And then we got Muhammad Al-Dud. We got the super sticker there. Off topic. Have you watched Calvin Robinson's interview with Liam Tufts? He is rather anti-Israel. Oh, Calvin Robinson? Yeah. Kind of place them in the same category of Islam. What is that?
Well,
I've seen you respond to him occasionally.
no, I think he's a full blown bastard. So I think that sounded weird. I think he's a I think he's a genuinely evil guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I think he's genuinely completely evil.
Can't you just disagree with someone without concluding that they're pure evil?
No, because not with
He said
him.
no. He just said he can't disagree with someone without concluding that they're pure evil. You heard it here, folks.
No, with him, it's not just a disagreement. He's absolutely. I think he's absolutely evil, pure evil. I have, on many occasions, directly reported on it and caught it as well, where
Whoa, you
he
reported him? Oh, snitching.
no reported it or on it, whatever you call it. He will directly. He's obsessed with Jews to such an extent that he will associate anything that is bad with Jews. He will lie about it. When he's directly exposed as having lied about it, he then refuses to admit it. He doubles down on it. I directly confronted him on it, and he just dismissed me. I offered to have a debate with him. He said, "You can watch my live stream. I'm debating it right now." So, and he was just literally literally
Boom.
having a live stream on his own about things. He's at one point he seemed kind of respectable because he was going against the flow and going against Islam, but
Yep.
then it turns out that
That's when I remembered him. That's what I
he's just a
remembered him for.
vindictive guy who has a problem with the church, jumps from church to church, and then now goes with this thing of. Everything possibly bad out there is the fault of Jews and of Israel. It's I'm not even exaggerating. I mean, just if you just follow the patterns of the guy and the stuff that he talks about, he will find anything that is a problem and somehow make it about Israel and the Jews. And
Well, to be fair, there are a lot of people like that.
and then he started. Tommy Robinson was one of the main people who promoted him, who gave him audience, who gave
Yeah, at one
him
of the events, like maybe a
credibility.
year and a half ago or something like that, one of the big rallies, he wasn't there, but he played a video of Calvin Robinson.
Yeah, and guess what he did just recently? He started attacking Tommy Robinson as as somebody who serves his Jewish masters, his Israeli Zionist Jewish masters, and all that. And Tommy's response, you should see, was just like, "Calvin, mate, what's going on? I'm confused." Basically like that. So Tommy wasn't even aggressive about it. He was like, "What is happening? I'm so confused right now," because I thought we were good. I thought I supported you and all that. The guy is just a complete lunatic. He was supposed to appear at a debate at Oxford Union. Remember the oh, I didn't tell people about this detail. So at Oxford Union there was supposed to be a debate at Oxford Union. Well, this part is known. Calvin Robinson was invited as one of the people to debate together with Tommy Robinson and somebody else the case that the West should be skeptical of Islam.
You got
All the
invited to
other
that too, didn't you?
dude,
What?
I didn't tell anybody about this.
Oh, I'm telling you, I got invited to it. I had to say I'm not allowed in your country, so don't invite me.
I know, but I didn't say anything about it to
Oh,
anybody because I wanted to keep it to myself until it actually happens. But due to scheduling issues, I couldn't make it, so they invited other people instead of me, and Calvin Robinson was one of the people who were invited to speak there.
mhm.
Because the fellow speakers complained and didn't want him, they basically disinvited him because of the cohesion. And then he started complaining, and instead of him, they invited Jonathan Sacerdoti, who is a very, very good, very well-spoken, actually educated, solid guy. However, it just so happens that Jonathan is a Jew. So Calvin's response to the whole situation was that they disinvited me, but invited a Jew instead, and all that. The guy is just—he went completely unhinged after October 7. You know, he's a
Wait,
lunatic.
are
He's
Jews? Wait, hang on. Are Jews not allowed to be suspicious of the religion that calls for their extermination? Like,
apparently not.
shut up! You're not allowed to talk.
Apparently not.
That's some weird stuff, man.
The guy is just genuinely messed up and evil at this point.
Weird stuff. Weird stuff. All right, let's see. AP, considering do you actually pronounce it? I've only seen this. Do you pronounce it like ASMR or do you say ASMR videos? You got the voice. What do you do? Do you say ASMR or do you say ASMR? What do you do?
That was the most boomer sounding question I've heard in my life. But yes, it is ASMR.
Well, that's annoying. They should come up with something more catchy. Anyway, I said you got the voice. Yes.
I
You do
know.
have a calming. I've said many times you sound like a psychologist, like, and that's why
That
you
sounded
did a good job playing Sigmund Freud.
that sounded pretty gay.
Sons of Thunder Apologia channel is great for superhero talk and apologetics. Ooh, I definitely got to tune in then. They are comic book nerds like that. Be there and be square. Shameless plug. Shout out to Defending a Lion and Ash Mays. Sons of Thunder. Tell Jay I said he sounds like a gay cowboy. Does he? D Wood, AP, why didn't you go to the NACP with IP and God Logic? What is that?
The conference in London. I was supposed to go. I also told them that I would go, but things just lots of stuff. I have been moving, so I wasn't really able to go there. So
Yeah, guys, if AP tells you he's going to be at your event or your conference, it's basically a coin flip on whether he's actually going to be at your conference. Coin
but
flip.
to be fair, they invited me as a special guest and not as a speaker. That's so.
After Jesus died and rose from the dead, the Christians didn't start sticking crosses up where they worshiped. This, like many others, was a practice that developed over time. Many Orthodox claims can't be proven. You hear that, AP? Many Orthodox claims can't be proven. But don't worry, this will all get settled at DebateCon 9. She has a fetish for three and foursome and masculinity. Who? Her attraction to Islam. I remember her. She sounded smart, but there was nothing holy about her conversion. Oh, it's talking about that girl?
Yeah,
Fetish for that's creepy. But if
I'm
she has
talking to
if she has a fetish for weird stuff, that's a good religion for it. Hey, big dogs! I heard Thaddeus doesn't think Israel should exist. I thought he would be a fan of the recent June celebrations in Tel Aviv. Said what? Thaddeus doesn't believe Israel should exist. Hey, Thaddeus, is this true? Hello, good to see you both. Hey, Ida. AP, I'm proud to be called a Woody for two reasons. First, when you were still a lost Turkish boy in Germany, I was a fan of Woody from the Bay City Rollers. Second, the cross was made from wood. That's a good point.
good points. Okay, fine.
Asmund Gold read the report, including the Islam part. Yo, I
Beautiful.
heard, and I just saw a comment somewhere that said Asmund Gold read the entire report live. Is that true? He read the entire thing? Because it was like 200 pages. Did he actually do that? Because I was thinking about that. I was like, it would actually be good to just sit there for like 8 hours and read the entire
Holy
thing.
oof. Okay, now I know. Yeah. Okay. His latest big video is the UK covered this up for 70 years. The video is 7 hours long.
He
It seems that
read the entire thing. Oh my goodness.
he read through the
Hats
entire
off to him.
thing.
Hats off to him for doing that. That's
And
smart. I thought about it. I was like, maybe we should, but he beat us to it. So,
it has 568,000 views at this
oh
point.
my goodness, man,
The exposure, man.
legend status right there. Legend status.
Just for this, I will subscribe to his channel now.
We got Woodstein's shekels included. That's a good one. Reminds me of Sam Shamoon attacking everyone. Yeah, that does remind me of Sam Shamoon. Asmund Gold, millions of followers now know about Aisha. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. I propose David's fans to be the Whittlers because they are whittling down Islam one argument at a time. That's not too bad.
That sounds
Hi,
pretty
D Wood. Will you be at ETS this year? Yeah. As far as I know. AP, check your texts. Love to you both. Oh, you should finally go to EPS for once, AP, instead of being
Oh,
a dork all the
Catherine.
time.
Okay. Yeah, I shall. Yeah, I was supposed to go last year. I didn't. There's a pattern there.
Yeah, AP is supposed to do lots of stuff.
I don't know when it is. So What is it?
It's always November. Is it the week before or the week after Thanksgiving or something like that. But yeah, so it's always in November. Um,
But why would I go to a
where
conference
is
of a
it?
bunch of evangelicals?
Where is it this year? ETS 2026.
Well, imagine you go to a conference of a bunch of evangelicals, like
Oh,
a door.
Denver. Denver. It's in Denver, man. What'd you say?
Denver? What? What?
It's in
I didn't
Denver.
hear.
Yeah, guys, think about AP. AP is going to go to the Evangelical meeting, annual meeting of the Evangelical Philosophical Society and the Evangelical Theological Society, and I will be filming as he walks in there and bursts into ball of flames. Even though I walk into EPS and burst into ball of flames. That was pretty dope rhymes, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Reminds me of something. I just don't know why.
What's that?
Reminds me of something. I just don't know what it is.
Oh, I thought we were done, but then more popped up. Asmund Gold has more followers on Twitch as well. Oh, that's good. Yeah, we need to start focusing on some other platforms, man, because there are other people out there who need to hear this stuff. But yeah, I'm hoping if he's exposing the grooming gangs and Muhammad and Aisha and all that stuff, I hope he's super popular on every platform out there. When I hear Woody, I think of the Toy Story song, "You Got a Friend in Me." You guys have a friend in me, not in a zoot sense.
You should focus on different platforms, but Twitch is not for old people.
Is that the one where they play video games and talk about crap?
Yeah.
I can play video. I can play Call of Duty, Black Ops, Zombies, and
Or Tetris.
Halo Wars. Not Halo, Halo Wars. Those are the two games I know how to play. Other than that, you got to go back to like the original Nintendo or Atari 2600. Atari 2600. Atari 2600. You want to go pole position? Pac-Man? Centipede? Huh? Jungle King? Donkey Kong? Huh? You want to go there? We could do it, man. And then Nintendo came out. Mike Tyson's Punch Out. You have any clue how many times I beat the crap out of Mike Tyson?
Nice.
Sinister Icy Hand of Death member reporting for duty. Man, we've just been talking about dumb Bobby's perspective and all this other stuff and talking trash about random defenseless people who aren't even here to defend themselves, like Calvin Robinson and all these stuff. And we haven't even jumped into the video yet, man.
Evangelical Theological Society.
David, what will you do if Dyer brings up you only learned about Baby Shark recently, so how knowledgeable can you really be on the true church? Yeah, that was funny. It has a ring to it. Yeah, so guys, people keep bringing up the Baby Shark because people are using it for shirk. So I had no clue what it was. Turns out it is the all-time most popular video on YouTube. 17 billion with a B views. And it goes, baby shark, do, something like that. And then it switched. So then last night I watched the rest of it, and then it goes on to like, mommy shark. Hey, but you know what's funny? It's kind of messed up, right? So they go baby shark, and then the dance is they're going like this, right? And then when they go to mommy shark, then they make it bigger. And then when they say daddy shark, then they make it like big. But then they do grandpa shark, and then they switch it to like fist because he's like gumming it. He's like gumming instead of having like shark teeth and stuff. And then and it was something else after that. I forget.
I wasn't expecting that we have now David Wood singing Baby Shark on audio. People will use.
Well, check it out. 'Cause I think it would be funny to make a parody called Baby Shark, and to have that for any time we're watching a Dala video. They always commit shirk. They're too dumb to know it. But I dare Jay Dyer to bring that up. I'll crush him. But he'll be busy getting crushed, so I don't think he'll have time to bring that up. David, would you want to review the newest interview on Suffering Evil with Dr. Lennox and Alex O'Connor? It'd be totally based. I would. That's actually a topic I'm interested in, and that is my area in philosophy. So I would be interested.
And John Lennox is just a fantastic person to watch.
Although he sounds like a leprechaun.
He's pure good, man. This is I don't know.
He
The
is.
guy's
He's
just
awesome, and he's like jolly. He's very likable, unlike some people. Like lots of apologists and stuff for various positions. Like you might like them if you're glad they're on your side and stuff, but if you are against them, you like this guy. But how do you dislike John Lennox, man?
I don't think any healthy person dislikes John Lennox.
He has 3 doctorates. He has 3 doctorates. Like a mathematics professor at like Oxford, and is super jolly and sounds like a leprechaun.
Nice.
And there are 3 things we need to remember about this: hearts, clovers, diamonds. Oh, there's 4 because it's horseshoes. Me frosted Lucky Charms. You got to remember, everyone. Apologetics is magically delicious. No one mispronounced David Wood fans as whittlers. It could yield poor results in public.
That's true.
Don't worry about that. D Wood just said he wants to go pole position. This is a proof. Yeah, Muhammad wanted to go pole position. Dawa Shirk. Oh, Dawa Shirk. Okay. Dawa Shirk. Yeah, it's Dawa Shirk. I heard my name. It's my fault. Okay, we got to do that, man. We got to make the Dawa Shirk song. AP, you're the one who knows how to use all that fancy AI crap to do parodies of stuff. We want Dawa Shirk. See you in Denver. Here's my GIF for you grifters. Thanks for the GIF. All right, we ready to jump into this, man?
What? I think I will come to the ETS event this year.
You should.
I'm curious. So,
one, it's I have to say they had presentations, and if there's a topic you're interested in, you get the latest on it, stuff like that. As far as most presentations, it's people reading papers that they wrote because it's an academic conference, so it's mostly people reading papers, which I'm always like, dude, in the time it takes you to read me your paper, I could have just read your paper 3 times because I read faster than you talk, even though I'm a pretty slow reader. I read faster than you talk. So you mainly go because everyone goes, and then you hang out and you check out the presentations you're interested in. So that's one. But 2, awesome place for like interviews and stuff because you have all the scholarly Christian apologists. You can pick a topic and get like 10 interviews and stuff like that if you got a camera set up. We should make that a goal. We should get a good camera set up for interviews, and then you contact people ahead of time. You say, hey, what are you doing on Thursday at noon? Can you swing by room such and such for an interview? And then you can ask everybody, why is Eastern Orthodoxy completely wrong?
I mean, I am thinking of attending, despite the fact that it's that they're like, no, if you're not part of us, if you're not Protestant, then you're not a real Christian. We don't want you here anyway. This is only for evangelicals.
Oh yeah, they're all gonna spit on you, man.
I will still go there just to show my acceptance of others.
Hey, to be funny, if you went to all the like Q&As and you just raised a question and every question was you, so what are you talking about this and not the true church? And make a compilation of you asking all these Protestant scholars why they won't debate the true church and like post that, and you'd be like the new hero. You'd be like the new Orthobro king, man.
Well, it would be quite pointless. I can already anticipate every single response. Well, to talk about what the true church is, we must first approach this from the perspective of theology as it was assessed over the last 2,000 years by Christians, whom we also call fake Christians, and so on and so forth. Dude, I don't have the time to listen to that.
Yeah, that wouldn't be any response. You would just get smoked. I read Utopia by Thomas More again and now find it dystopic. It's strange when ideas from novels written hundreds of years old arrive on the doorstep. Yeah, that is good. All right, man, we ready to check out this video that you keep stalling on?
Yes.
Okay, guys, here we have Michael Knowles interviewing Sammy Woodhouse, and to be cool, I mean, I hope a lot of these channels who do interviews and stuff like that start getting more of the grooming gang survivors to tell their stories and stuff. No, it can be pretty difficult for girls to come forward and talk about all this stuff that these guys were doing. But for those who, and if someone doesn't want to do it, I would never tell them, you need to do it. But for those who are like, nope, I actually want to share this story, start contacting some of these channels. Say you want to share what happened. Anyway, here we go. Michael Knowles, Sammy Woodhouse.
In the U.S., Europe, and the U.K. has consistently been shown to prioritize migrants over citizens, criminals over perpetrators. We've seen it again and again in recent weeks. I was just in the UK after the killing of Henry Novak at the hands of a child of an immigrant, where the police were instructed to defer to the migrant killer over the English victim again and again and again. Now, the background for all of this is a story that goes back not just a few weeks or a few years, goes back decades, goes back to the 80s. And that is the grooming gang scandal in the UK, whereby untold numbers of English girls, working class English girls, were abused by Pakistani Muslim grooming gangs. And that would be a tragedy enough, but the government was actually complicit. So
Well, that's the reason you got those massive numbers. If the government had decided to stop this right when they found out about it, you wouldn't have had 250,000 victims. You would have had some victims, but that would have been stopped. But instead, they chose the idea that diversity is their strength, even if diversity includes 250,000 young girls being groomed, drugged, plied with alcohol, raped, gang raped, and pimped.
Now, I'm very pleased to be sitting down with Sammy Woodhouse, who not only had a firsthand experience of these horrible crimes, but who is helping to lead the charge against them with the just-released rape gang inquiry report that the government would not push, so an independent inquiry had to be led. Sammy, thank you so much for joining me.
Hi there.
Sam,
I just looked up Sammy Woodhouse here on Wikipedia. Born in 1985 and started when she was 14 years old. All it says here, it talks about the leader of a grooming gang was raping her. It doesn't say anything about other people. But if she's born in 1985 and it started when she's 14, so this would have been starting at the end of the 1990s for her.
I'm sorry to miss you in the UK. Just a little background for some of the audience here. We were about to sit down and do an interview when I was over that way for an Oxford Union debate. And about an hour or two before we were to sit down, my producer got us kicked out of the club we were staying at. Can't take him anywhere. Very unfortunately, that meant that we could not sit down in person. But I really, really wanted to speak with you because, one, I think this report is so important. Your story is so important, perhaps now more than ever. And because the government in your country and my country is largely failing us, failing citizens, constantly prioritizing the needs of non-citizens, of migrants, and of perpetrators. So before we get into what's in the report, can you just give a brief outline of what happened to you?
Of course. I grew up in a small northern town in the north of England called Rotherham. I met Arshad Hussain when I was 14 years old. Now, just to go back a little bit.
So Arshad Hussain. I just want to see if this guy's been locked up. I think he's been locked up.
It's a
24-year-old Arshad Hussain, leader of a child sexual exploitation gang, who was married and had 2 children. This guy was married and had 2 kids and was raping young British girls.
before my exploitation started. I came from a working class family. I was the youngest of three daughters. I was a confident child. I was popular. I was bubbly. I was good in school. I was a dancer as well. So I was a child with a bright future. I always say there was nothing vulnerable about me apart from the obvious, that I was just a child. But when I met Arshad Hussain when I was 14 years old, that all changed. And for several years, I went on to be abused mentally, sexually, and physically. And I was also coerced into committing crimes. Now, I went missing for days, weeks, months at a time. And I was everywhere. He took me to hotels, B&Bs. I lived with his family as well, which I'll get into a little bit more later. My family contacted the authorities, and the police said that I was making a lifestyle choice. Now, I just want to tell you a little bit about Arshad Hussain. He was 24 years old. He was a Pakistani Muslim man. He was known to the police and to social care for being what we know now, one of the most dangerous men in the United Kingdom. He'd been in and out of prison for committing all different kinds of crime. So the authorities knew about me and other children from as early as the 1990s, and they knew that his entire operation, who was trafficking the girls, who the girls actually were, at what places they were taken to, absolutely everything they knew.
You catch that, guys? She's saying they knew about this guy and what he was doing and his operation. This guy was the leader of one of the rape gangs, and it wasn't just her. And she said police in the 1990s knew about this entire operation. And yet when it gets pointed out, hey, here's one of his victims, they want nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it.
Now, he was related to a Labour politician. And this is how I went on to expose the Rotherham child abuse scandal, because I named Jahangir Akhtar. He was a Labour politician. He made a no prosecution deal with Arshad Hussain and a police officer called PC Hassan Ali. So what that meant was, on one occasion when I was abducted, they told him if he handed me over at a petrol station that he wouldn't be prosecuted. So he was allowed time and time again to get away with the crimes that he was committing against me. And, I was raped, I was beaten.
Hold on. I want everyone to Google Arshad Hussain at the moment and look at a picture of this filthy bastard. According to news from just today, actually, it's from Sammy Woodhouse herself, who is here on screen speaking, who herself was abused, like many others, by a grooming gang leader, Arshad Hussain. She received letters that confirm that many convicts who are imprisoned are currently being considered for possible early release by the United Kingdom Ministry of Justice as part of their prison and sentencing reforms, which aim to improve sentencing and prison stuff. Under the current Labour government, people, including grooming gang perpetrators, including this guy, seem to be considered at the moment for possible early release. The guy was sentenced to 35 years in prison. She herself got a notice from the Ministry of Justice that his situation is currently being considered and that she should just be patiently waiting until August for the Ministry of Justice to take a decision about whether he would be released early or not. We are speaking of a guy who ran a grooming gang, a rape gang, who was responsible for the grooming and the rape of who knows how many girls and women in the United Kingdom. I personally think that even the sentencing, 35 years, the sentencing of this guy is completely misplaced. I think that it is way past that point where The United Kingdom needs to bring back the death penalty for subhuman filth like this and to execute these bastards immediately. But can you imagine that? Sammy Woodhouse herself posted about this today. That the guy, her abuser, the rape gang leader, is being possibly considered for early release from prison.
Matter of fact, let's just keep this joker up here.
If that happens, if that is not the point where people wake up, I don't know what is, man. Seriously.
It was him and his two brothers. So 3 brothers who groomed, raped. This is from is this BBC? Yeah, this is BBC. So this is back when they were sentenced. So it's 3 brothers who groomed, raped, and sexually assaulted 15 teenage girls in Rotherham have been jailed. Arshid Hussain, 40, so it's when he was 40, is when he was finally convicted and sentenced. Arshid Hussain, 40, was jailed for 35 years, while siblings Basharat, 39, and Benares, 36, were jailed for 25 and 19 years, respectively. Their uncle, Qurban Ali, who was found guilty of conspiracy to rape, was jailed for 10 years, so he's long since out. Associate, and they actually had a non-Muslim British woman who helped her. Associate Karen McGregor, 59, was jailed for 13 years. Interesting. Arshid and Basharat Hussain were found guilty at Sheffield Crown Court of 38 offenses, including rape, indecent assault, abduction, false imprisonment, and making threats to kill. Benares Hussain pleaded guilty to 10 charges before the trial. And their uncle. Notice, guys, it's always interesting. This is a family affair. This is a family thing. You got brothers.
The entire family needs to be.
Yeah. I'm just saying, this happens over and over again in the when the grooming gangs, when there's like the trials and stuff like that. It'll be like fathers and sons, brothers, cousins, uncles, nephews, like entire families are gang raping girls. And so it's like, it's just completely acceptable to them. The entire family's involved. And these are guys who are like married with kids and stuff like that. And, oh, what are we doing? What are we doing after? Oh, let's go gang rape these girls. And then the government's like, how can we release them early?
I was abducted. There was times when he tried to kill me. So, for example, there was an occasion when he dragged me into the car. He started speeding towards the top of the street and said he was going to kill me. He drove into 2 parked cars and into a church. There was another occasion when he was speeding towards the end of a hilltop, which overlooks all of my town. And he said if he couldn't have me, no one could. And he slammed on the brakes, at the edge of the hilltop. I got out of the car. I was physically sick. And he took me to the edge and said he was going to throw me off it. And that was a moment I thought my life was going to end. And I was so terrified, I actually wet myself. He then placed me into the back of the car and raped me. And that was something that was happening on a daily basis. Now, unfortunately, the authorities that was meant to be protecting wasn't. So I saw police officers, by drugs off him, passing information to us.
2 things here. So we've got Siege the King here saying, what can we do if we are in jail? And we've got...
Go to jail then.
Hey, let me finish, man. No AP, we are oppressed by a tyrannical government. Here's the thing, guys. The people who get arrested for something they say on Facebook or something like that, they can only do that. They can only do that if it's just a few of you, right? You can only if they arrest someone, no, we are helpless, disarmed, and oppressed. If your government says, hey, you just posted this on Facebook, we're locking you up. Well, that's a warning, right? That's a warning to everyone else. Hey, if you don't want to get locked up, keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut, or we'll lock you up. Well, notice, that works. That works if people actually go for that and say, oh, well, gosh, yeah, don't want to get locked up. So guess you win. If 1 million or 10 million people right after that go and post the same thing on Facebook, what's the government going to do? The government going to lock up 10 million people? They're not. I guarantee you they're not. 1 million. Are they going to lock up 1 million people over a Facebook post? No, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. So the point is, there comes a time when you just rise up and say, go ahead and lock me up. Go ahead and lock me up. And you post it on Facebook, or you post it on X, or you say whatever you want, and you say at the end, and come lock me up. Come lock me up. Period. Go ahead. Go. Do it. Do it. Do it. And that sends a message to other people. See, the government's trying to send a message to other people. That you can also send a message to other people. Point here, guys, is sometimes some things they're worth getting locked up for. They're worth getting locked up for. I was just thinking earlier, back in the day, they'd have like 15, 16-year-old soldiers being told, hey, march across this field and you're probably going to die in this battle because there are people who are going to be shooting at you. And so, but you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to march out there. And here we are, just a couple generations after wars like that. But no, they might lock me up for something on Facebook. Well, if you're going to back down because they might lock you up for something you said on Facebook, then you kind of lost already. You need you need to get organized. You need to get millions of people on the same page, and you need to just say, you know what? Screw you guys. You want to lock us up for this? Lock us up for this. Do it. And that's when your government has to change. Because again, they're not going to lock up 10 million of you. They're not going to lock up 1 million of you. The deterrent only works if people kind of accept it and go along with it. Anyway, and I'm saying that because we've seen things like that in the past. Here in the U.S., the civil rights movement. Hey, you march, we're going to lock you up. Okay, then we're going to show up with more people next time. Then go ahead and lock us up. You got to let us go eventually, and then we're going to go out and do the exact same thing over again. You want to keep locking us up and locking up more and more and more of us? What happened? Then eventually they changed the laws. So David just sitting there quiet while AP disses him. Yeah, AP dissed all Americans, insulted all Americans and all Europeans except the Poles and a couple other people. What a weird dude. And by the way, guys, that's one of the problems with these Turks. They have this superiority complex, and then they can leave Turkey, can even completely abandon their previous ideology, and yet they maintain that sense of superiority. That's pretty creepy stuff. All right, let's check this out.
Something that was happening on a daily basis. Now, unfortunately, the authorities that was meant to be protecting wasn't. So I saw police officers, buy drugs off him, passing information towards him. They would have child protection meetings about me, and they would invite professionals in to ensure that no one was being racist towards him. So for people like myself, children like myself, we wasn't just going up against him and the gangs. We was going up against the state. Now, what has now been evidence is that professionals didn't want to challenge this and arrest him in fears of being called racist or Islamophobic. So it took many years to expose what had been happening to me and to thousands of other children. But in 2013, I contacted a journalist called Andrew Norfolk, and I had collected all my own evidence because the police was refusing to act. And I actually recorded the police officers on my mobile phone refusing to prosecute this man, even with DNA evidence from my son, because I actually became pregnant twice through my exploitation.
You catch that, guys? Now, she's smart. See what she did? The police were refusing to do anything about a rapist who had impregnated her twice, forced her to get an abortion for one. And so she recorded them. And then that ended up in the news. And I think it was Andrew Norfolk, and I think it was like 2013, so about 13 years ago. Someone, I think he was had the first one of the first big reports on what's going on. Because before that, it's just like it's the English Defense League, and they're just labeling everything far right and stuff. And these guys are just racist for wanting to protect these girls and so on. But she recorded it. Very smart. And that actually forced some things.
So I gave evidence to Andrew Norfolk at the Times, and that included tape recordings of the police files, social care, NHS documents, and I named the politicians, rapists, and police officers involved. Now, that is what commissioned a report which you may have heard of called the Alexis J report. It showed that there was a minimum of 1,400 children in my hometown from 1997 that had been groomed, abused, raped, tortured, trafficked, criminalised, impregnated, murdered, blamed. And, these professionals that were meant to protect didn't. A majority of the perpetrators were Pakistani Muslim men. But it also opened the criminal investigation. So for the very first time, children like myself would be able to get some form of criminal justice. And that's now known as Operation Stovewood, the biggest criminal investigation in British history into the offences.
Notice, guys, I didn't even know the connection there. So she realizes police will not intervene or do anything about these guys. She records them. She gets a recording of these guys refusing to do anything about rape gangs. Records them. Finally gets the attention of someone in the media who publishes an article about this. This leads to an investigation in her town, Rotherham, and that investigation is what revealed 1,400 girls as victims and all the problems. In other words, guys, the takeaway here is be smart. Do smart things to expose evil things. And this worked. Hats off to her. So, yeah, I knew that she's from Rotherham, and I knew the Rotherham scandal was the first like big news we heard exposing all this. But yep, that's actually what led to the report.
So what year was this that finally the police said, okay, we'll open an investigation?
It was August 2013. I was the first to go on record. I remember it well.
This has been going on since, according to some reports, since the 80s. In your telling, in your experience, since
1950s, according to the Grooming Gangs report.
The 90s. We're talking about decades and decades. And finally, 2013 is when they say, maybe we'll look into this.
Yeah, I mean, today our report, which I know we're going to get into in a little while, it's actually proving that it's been happening since as early as the 1950s. So this has been going on for a very, very long time. And not just in Rotherham, but through the entire United Kingdom. So we've today located at 149.
When you say that there were 1,400 people just in your town in Rotherham, what is the number? What is I've heard anywhere from it was 1,000 girls who were abused over a few decades. People try to dismiss it. I say, 1,000 girls abused by this one particular type of person. That seems like a big story. But if you're saying it was 1,400 in Rotherham alone, What is the number? What is the scope? We're talking about now decades and decades, possibly going back to the mid 20th century. How many girls were actually abused by the Pakistani gangs?
Yeah, it's been pointed out. It's been going on for 1,400 years. That might be some sort of good video. Muhammad's original rape gang. Because that's what they were doing, guys. That's what they were doing. They're going around and conquering people and as a big gang and raping the women and girls. AP, it's been going on 1,400 years. Don't think that it's just the UK and America that you're mad at.
It's a minimum of around 250,000. I think it'd be a lot more. Now, what we've also got to remember that they couldn't even be bothered to keep the data of how many people this has been happening to. They didn't keep the data of the race and the religion, which is something that we're trying to fight for now with MP Rupert Lowe. Everybody was absolutely terrified, of these perpetrators due to race and religion. It's ludicrous.
So when you mentioned just a moment ago, you said some of these police, they would be buying drugs off the Pakistanis, or some of them would be involved in their criminal enterprise. So, there you see that maybe they wouldn't want to tell on the grooming gangs because they were implicated in some of the crimes. But then the other angle, the other reason that the cops wouldn't get involved is they didn't want to be called racist. When did that begin? I mean, when did the sort of political correctness begin where the government is saying, no, we're going to prioritize perpetrators over victims because we're afraid of being called racist? And when did that really accelerate? And what was the big driver here? Was it that they didn't want to be called racist, or were the cops even more intimately involved in the gangs?
Based on my experience in the U.S., it was in the 1990s. I don't know if it's the same in the UK, but I kind of remember where this popped up. There was a movie, an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie called True Lies, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis. And the villains in that movie were a Muslim terrorist group called Crimson Jihad. And I remember when the movie came out, there were protests in the U.S., Muslim protests in the U.S., saying, "You're labeling all Muslims as jihadis and terrorists. How dare you? This is so offensive." So I remember that, and I was like, they didn't say anything about all Muslims. Those are the villains in the movie. And that's when you stop seeing so many like Islamic terrorists as the villains in movies, because you started getting the protests. But that's when like the complaining about being racist and Islamophobic started, as far as like I recall. In other words, that's when I noticed. And that was before I got locked up. So True Lies, that was what, I don't know, 1993 or something like that. Anyway, True Lies came out, and I remembered that. So in other words, before that, you could be talking about Muslims before that and having them as villains and stuff. That's when the Muslim population realized they wield power over the larger population by complaining about bigotry and anti-Muslim racism and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm actually interested where she thinks this started, but I would guess in the 1990s.
Yes, they definitely were. So the police officers were holding what was called cop nights. So what that meant was that police officers would take it in turns to rape the children. And then they would hand the children back to the gangs. Now, some of the things that was actually happening to children are just absolutely horrific. They wasn't just beaten and raped. And this weren't just about sexual gratification. This was about pure humiliation and degrading children. Children was raped by dogs. They was locked in cages. Animals were slaughtered and eaten, in a bathroom. It's just absolutely horrific. I mean, one child, she witnessed other girls being murdered in front of her. The most evil of crimes, and it was just allowed to go on for decades. But the cover up has been going on for many, many decades. And what we've got to remember is this was happening under Labour councils. And I know that our report has been heavily critical of the Labour government, and very rightly so. And if we go back, and that's how I actually exposed my own town, because I named a Labour politician called Jahangir Akhtar. So we have a Labour government that, of course, sacrificed us for the Muslim vote. But then we had the Conservative Party come in for well over a decade. They did very little. So we need to hold them responsible as well. And then, we've got parties such as Reform that are saying, well, we're not going to do anything unless we get into a Reform government. So that's where MP Rupert Lowe came along. He popped up, he heard about what was going on. This was probably about 18 months ago. And he contacted me and said, Sammy, what do I need to know? I told him. And from that moment forward, he's been relentless in his fight. And that's why I worked with him. He set up the rape gang inquiry because no one else wanted to touch this. Now, people like myself, I've been an activist now for 14 years. I've made many government exposures. There's been multiple times when I could have gone to prison for exposing that. I've changed policies, I've changed laws. I've tried to do absolutely everything in my power to try and expose this and, protect children. But let's be honest, it shouldn't be me that's, kind of fighting to expose this. I'm the one that's lived it. I should be able to go out there and live my life while politicians and police officers and social workers are fighting this. But unfortunately, it's been left to me. So I've been working with MP Rupert Lowe. Our inquiry is is publicly funded. So we've got 20,000 people that have donated to make this inquiry happen. And our report was published today. But the Labour government was refusing to do a national inquiry. And then you had people such as Elon Musk. He was speaking about this, and of course, he's got a huge platform. He's been very supportive over mine and Rupert's work and everything to do with what's been happening in the UK. So the Labour government...
Yeah, it was good. And guys, Elon drawing attention to this. This was, if I recall, beginning of last year, beginning of 2025, when Elon started bringing this up. I think that had a lot to do with them eventually getting a real report on this. So it is awesome when we have people in positions of influence that can't be silenced. So yes, if you're in the UK and you talk about this, police can show up and lock you up and so on. So anyway, it's good that there are people who it's called FU money, guys. It's called FU money because if you're just wealthy, there are situations where they can come at you. People can come at you. People in other people in positions of power can come at you and destroy your wealth. So it's a big incentive. It's a big incentive to keep your mouth shut on this stuff. They tried it with Elon. They tried really hard with Elon. Everyone went off on Elon. They started even like attacking the Tesla car lots and burning Teslas and stuff like that, all to send a message. Guess what? He's a trillionaire now. He's a trillionaire, and he never backed down from that stuff. So that's anyway. But at the end of the day, guys, if it's your country, you got to stand your ground on certain things. Look what this one woman did. She didn't back down. Police refused to act. She exposed them and so on. And that led to the entire situation and people in Rotherham being exposed for what they did. But Sunrise in Paradise said, where was her father, her family, uncles, all the victims' family? What a bunch of clowns. Well, that's the thing. We've seen over and over again in the stories that they target girls from kind of broken homes or from dysfunctional homes, or especially girls who don't have mom and dad, and they're in like, foster care or in care homes and so on. They go after people like that specifically because they know they don't have strong people protecting them. And one of the stories we read, it said how her mother or something, who was like a drug addict and stuff. But one time her mother, when she realized these guys kept showing up, called up all like uncles and stuff like that, and had a bunch of guys hanging around when the grooming gang was coming to get the girl. And the girl said when the grooming gang saw that, they turned around and didn't come back. It's like, just think about that. They don't want a confrontation with strong men. And so, guys, be some strong men. And notice, so this, like, if you have strong families, this just doesn't happen. So anyway, guys, take care of your kids.
Have been shamed into doing this.
So when the inquiry report comes out.
Hang on, I'm saying that because I'm thinking, like, I don't have any daughters, but if I had a daughter and some of these guys showed up, that would be like, just going to say it, that would be like the ass kicking of a lifetime if some guys showed up for my daughter or something like that. Me, my sons, everyone would go into war mode over this, like, instantly. That's the way it should be, right? You should have strong people who are willing to protect the girls around you. So anyway, and I have to say, it wouldn't matter if it was if we found out this was happening to some girl we don't even know down the street. So yeah, what the heck's going on over there, guys?
It was fresh out today. We have it right here. We'll get into it in just a moment. This inquiry was independently funded, so the government did not fund it. Even all these decades later, the government wants to push it to the side. There are overtones of the murder of Henry Novak, which happened just some weeks ago, where you have this white guy, 18-year-old kid, stabbed, murdered in cold blood by an older Punjabi guy, and the cops show up. They let the victim bleed out on the ground, and they're joking around with the killer. And that actually comes from their training, the training which says you need to stop white fragility. You need to stop microaggressions. You can't treat every race equally. You have to go softer on non-whites. You have to be harsher to whites. We don't want racial equity, they said, in the police action plan. So it is a matter of UK government policy that white people, that is to say Englishmen, are to be deprioritized. The migrants, largely Pakistani, and the Muslims need to be prioritized. And so in the case of the grooming gangs, it was all of these English girls who were sacrificed for decades. I guess in some cases, literally. You mentioned here that some of the girls were actually murdered. Has anybody been held to account for that? Have there been investigations into the murders? It's all really awful, but a murder on top of rapes, beatings, abuse, murder, it's about as far as a criminal can go. Has there been any justice in those cases?
As someone from a criminal background, when you murder someone, that can, of course, be in a fit of rage. It can be a fit of rage because a lot of these guys are extreme hotheads, and they have nothing but contempt for the girls. But it can also be a girl that you're thinking is going to keep reporting you. But probably most common, that's a message to others. That's a message to other girls. That's why she's saying there are girls who saw other girls being killed. That's a message for those other girls. So when they say, we will kill you, when they tell this girl, hey, we will kill you, they definitely believe it. And then word gets around. And those girls share that information with other girls who are being, nope, they will kill us. So do what they say.
In Telford, there was, he's in prison, and he didn't just murder the victim, he murdered family members as well. Now, I recently contacted the National Crime Agency. So I'm going back, this is in the last few months. And I said to them in an email, I've got a young woman that has got evidence. She has witnessed murders take place. She's been trafficked. She wants to come forward and make a statement. The National Crime Agency hasn't even contacted me. I've had no reply whatsoever. But
you hear that, guys? Fortunately, there's a but here. So hopefully this is some good news. She contacts the authorities and says, I've got the proof. I've got the witness. I have the evidence of these guys actually murdering girls. They never even bothered to contact her for this information. Because that would be racist.
Recently, Rupert Law announced that we are going to start and name the perpetrators and the professionals that have been involved in this. Now, the next minute,
you hear that? The perpetrators and the people who the people who basically refuse to do anything about it. That's good. That's what you got to do. Start naming names. Start naming names of the criminals and those who looked the other way. Naming names. Name the police, all that stuff.
We've had the NPCC, that's the chief councils, they overlook the police. They have contacted us on multiple occasions by email saying, we need to speak to you as soon as possible because we need to safeguard the people you intend to name. So what we've got is victims, yet again, no one cares about them, but yet they want to safeguard perpetrators. And that's what I've seen for 14 years. I've seen two-tier policing. And I even remember, when I was being exploited, and he used to laugh and joke and say, oh, I'll just play the race card. What's going on in our country? And I know this is happening.
Did you hear that? You could bring it up to one of these guys saying, hey, we'll be exposed. Oh, I'll just play the race card. They know it. They know they can play the race card. Did you hear that part, though? So she said, Rupert Lowe says, hey, when we have evidence, we're just going to start naming names. And the government says, well, we need in advance any names you're going to name because we need to protect these people. We need to be able to protect these people. We'll protect them from what? Well, what you'd be concerned about is if you name this guy is a gang rapist in this city, and here's what he did to these dozens of girls, and he's never been arrested of it. They're concerned that someone might go and do something to this poor guy that the government hasn't done. So they want these guys to have police protection from people who might want to go do something because the government has never done. They want them to have police protection, not police protection for the girls or the victims, police protection for the rapists and the authorities who refuse to help them. Good to know.
All over Europe, and I recently spoke at the Remigration 2026 summit in Portugal. So I know this isn't just a UK problem, but you're right. We, people, the white race are being treated totally different. And for these particular type of crimes, there was a recent case come out where, for example, one Muslim man got sentenced to, I think it was 17 years for something about like 8 rapes. The sentencing is meant to represent the seriousness of the crime. So when you're putting out that we're only sending people to prison for 1-2 years, and some haven't even gone to prison. That's sending a very clear message that it's okay to rape children. But then you've got, say a white guy down the road that's put on a tweet that's been sent to prison. So our country it's just absolutely horrendous what's going on. And, we're trying to do everything in our power to try and stop that and trying to change it. But when we have people such as Keir Starmer and the Labour government in power, we're very limited of what we can do.
Sammy, given the hate speech laws,
here's another thing. Because these things are massively underreported, if you actually find a man guilty of 8 rapes that you could actually prove in court, and that guy's part of a rape gang that was doing this for years, and you can actually prove, you actually have the victims who are willing to testify, and you prove that he committed 8 rapes. How many rapes do you think this guy actually committed? 8? You think you got him? Think you got this guy for all 8? Or did this guy rape hundreds of times and this is just what you can actually pin on him? And yet you're saying, okay, we'll give you a year or 2 for each of these rapes that we convicted you of, and nothing for anything else. Pretty creepy.
Are you concerned that your being here on this show, stating the facts, telling the truth, explaining reality as it is, are you concerned that there could be legal consequences for that?
I don't think so, because she's too well known. And she knows she's got backing now. She's got support now. It's more the people who don't have anyone. So I think she's pretty safe talking about this stuff.
Yeah, of course they could. I've been speaking out now for 14 years, and there's been many occasions when I have been placed under investigation and people try to have me arrested. But what's important is that we keep speaking out. You know, what I'm doing is telling the truth. I've got.
They're not going to do it now. Yeah, if this had been 8 years ago, 7 years ago, maybe. But I think she's cleared a hurdle on them actually coming after her.
Evidence in what I'm saying, and I'm going to keep on talking.
As you should. You know, there's a video went viral out of the UK of a woman being arrested by police for praying silently on the opposite side of the street from an abortion clinic. So praying in her own head, she's arrested by the police for praying sort of near an abortion clinic. She gets arrested for that. Meanwhile, a Pakistani Muslim can rape girls for years. He will not be arrested for that.
Nor will Muslims get arrested if they can block traffic and block intersections and stuff like that praying. But a Catholic woman down the street from an abortion clinic, not protesting, not yelling at people, not saying, hey, you killed your baby killers, silently praying, police show up, arrest her.
It would be comical if it weren't so tragic. But obviously there's this two-tier of policing, no question about it.
Listen to this. Rapist Waleed Saeed, convicted of exactly 17 offenses, sentenced to 16 years in prison, and issued a 10-year sexual harm protection order. 16 years in prison. He was found guilty of 17 different charges, offenses. Let me read every single one of these to you.
Hang on one second. What's messed up is you keep hearing stuff about these guys get 16 years and then they're released after 5 and stuff like that. It's like that's what your real sentence is.
16 years. I'll start reading out. 9 charges he pleaded guilty to, and 8 charges the jury found him guilty of. The 9 charges he pleaded guilty to are the following: threatening to share a photo or film of a person in an intimate state. 2, the same, threatening to share a photograph or film of a person. 3, blackmail. 4, blackmail. 5, making indecent photographs of a child. 6, making indecent photographs of a child. 7, distributing an indecent image of a child. 8, witness intimidation. 9, disclosing or threatening to disclose private sexual photographs and films with intent to cause distress. You haven't heard anything yet. These are the 9 charges, 9 offenses that he pleaded guilty to.
Yeah, and you're saying he pleaded guilty to these and would most likely be because they had him dead to rights on these things. Like they've got the stuff on his phones and they've got the text messages where he's threatening, I'll send this, I'll post this rape video of you all over the place and stuff like that and send it to everyone. And so they probably had him dead to rights on that stuff.
Yeah.
And then the stuff he would have denied is stuff where it's relying on the testimony of a girl, and he thinks that might be in doubt.
Now come the charges that he has been found guilty of. Rape, 1. Rape, 2. Rape, 3. Rape, 4. Attempted rape, sexual assault, blackmail. He has been found guilty of these. 4 counts of rape, another count of attempted rape, another count of sexual assault, 2 counts of blackmail, together with the abuse and photographing and intimidating of children sexually. Aside from this, these are just things that he has admitted to, or that he has been that they somehow found evidence for and could charge him with and convict him with. You will imagine that there are many more cases of rape and attempted rape outside of this. Let's say it goes to over 20 rapes. They gave this guy a sentence of 16 years in prison. 16 years in prison. That's it. 16 years in prison. And people worry about insults and disrespect.
Let's take these super chats to cleanse our minds for a moment. There should be an inquiry here in the U.S. I wouldn't be surprised if this is happening here in places like Michigan, Minnesota, and North Texas. Back when we got locked up, I've mentioned this multiple times in the past, but we got locked up in Dearborn. The dude that's taking our mugshots, he didn't say this to me because I don't talk to cops. Although I think this is the cop that brought me a sandwich when I started yelling, "Feed me or free me." But the guy was taking the mug shots, told Nabil, and he told our buddy Paul separately because they started talking. They started talking to him. They're like, we're being arrested for having a conversation with some young Muslims on the street. They came up to us. We started answering their questions. You guys threw us in jail. So they're telling him how the system is messed up there. This guy who's taking the mugshots, he told Nabil and Paul, "You don't have to tell me." He said, "I've been in houses where a girl was beheaded by her parents for not coming home on time and so on. And it never gets reported and never ends up in the media." And he said, "And if you ever bring this up, I'll deny I ever said it." So they know the rules. Can we call Britain Hell Island or Grape Island? Well, let's give them let's see if they are able to pull out of this. Because keep in mind, guys, even though you're still not getting the reaction you should be getting when you hear that 250,000 girls were groomed, plied with alcohol, raped, gang raped, and pimped, recorded, used for rape porn. Even though you're still not getting the reaction, they're at least starting to pay some attention to it. So,
I want to compare Britain to Epstein's Island, but the problem is that Britain is a million times worse than Epstein's Island.
It's pretty bad.
And it's Mohammed's Island.
This stuff is exactly why the Crusades happened, why Vlad III Dracula did what he did, and why the Spanish Inquisition originally started. Crusade now? No, that would be Islamophobic. Knowles is not ortho, so this interview is bad. You see? That's what AP's been thinking the entire time. No, AP, Western people have been taught that being Christian means to be a pushover. Thanks to shows like this here, we are learning we are not. Yeah, guys, you see what happens when, and there's a reason for it. You get a bunch of Christians in a country all together, and they can learn to get along, and they can learn not to attack each other over things. They can learn to be nice, and then they can start having niceness as a virtue and so on. But all of a sudden, you bring in people who do not think like you, and you don't know what you do. You don't know what to do because you haven't learned what to do. You haven't learned what to do. You haven't had to learn what to do in that situation. And you're still programmed. No, just be nice. Don't hurt anyone's feelings. The worst thing that can possibly happen to you is to be called a name like racist. That would be the worst thing ever. So don't do that.
But to be fair, despite how terrible the Catholics are, they were the ones who were the most based in history, in Christian history, overall. I would say in terms of fighting back and all that, historically they were the ones who were pretty good. And some of that spirit needs to be picked up again by everybody.
I think you just converted to Catholicism, AP.
I mean, the Orthodox sucked and still suck when it comes to reaction and self-defense and all that. And the Protestants, let's not even speak of the Protestants.
The Protestants
Protestants is all
The
about
Protestants fought the
Christianity is all about
jihadis for 14 centuries and kept them out of Europe.
No. Christianity is all about having a personal relationship with Jesus. We shouldn't be fighting.
I've never made the video, but I've wanted to make the video for a long time. Way back in my college years, I was a double major in biology and philosophy. But one of the classes I took was ecology. And it's very interesting that the same principles of ecology that you see, they apply to like populations like this. So if you have an ecosystem, so ecology is study of ecosystems. If you have an ecosystem, right, that's everything. That's everything that's living in an area. That's your trees, your animals, all that stuff. It ends up in a kind of equilibrium. Everything is kind of balanced. Meaning, if one species starts, let's say, gets out of whack, and all of a sudden the population of that species doubles for some reason, well, guess what? They're going to consume more of whatever that species consumes. Then there's not going to be as much to consume. They're going to start dying off, and it's going to balance out again. So anyway, you the same can apply into society. You can get to a kind of equilibrium where everything's working together. But then you have this. You have invasive species. Invasive species comes in. And the invasive species are interesting because another species from some other area, it can be a forest fire over there and this species leaves and then they go to a new area and so on. Or it can be introduced, right? Like bringing rabbits to Australia or something like that. What happens? They bring, that started off, some British guy thought, hey, let's bring some European rabbits down here to Australia. They'll be fun to hunt down here. Okay, what happened? They destroyed Australia almost. And got to the point where they had to take all these measures about how to kill all the rabbits. Why? The rabbits get down there. They have no natural predators down there. So there's nothing that's killing the rabbits except an occasional hunter. It's a climate where the rabbits can reproduce year round. It's not like other areas where all of a sudden you got winter and stuff like that and things change. The climate was such that they could reproduce year round. So what happens? The rabbit population just explodes. What happens? The rabbits go and just destroy all the vegetation everywhere, and they're turning places into deserts. The rabbits are turning places into deserts and so on. So anyway, an invasive species goes into a new area where it doesn't have any predators, and then it just multiplies and starts destroying everything around it. Well, guess what? That can happen in a society as well. All of a sudden you bring in something that people aren't used to responding to or reacting to, and something they don't know what to do, and this just starts running amok. But you also, what was interesting to me was there's also this principle in ecology that sometimes an invasive species comes from an area where things are much more violent, where the species is always like fighting other things for its life. And then it goes into a nice, stable area, and the more aggressive species that invades just starts crushing everything around it because nothing has learned to fight this sort of thing. And then nothing knows how to fight back because they're not used to that. They haven't grown up in that environment. These guys over here, this species over here, grew up in an environment where it's constantly fighting. So it's made for a constant, endless aggression. And then it comes over in this area where everything's nice and friendly and harmonious, and it just starts destroying things. Anyway, I was always found that connection fascinating, where you can actually list all the various things that cause invasive species to destroy an ecosystem, and you have the exact same features in societies and with ideologies and so on. Fascinating stuff, I say.
Dude, that was pretty. This is the first interesting thing you've ever said in your life.
I know. That's why I don't say this stuff much. There's a Muslim running for the mayor of Toronto. Well, that's good. What could go wrong? And we know the Canadians, they're gonna show how tolerant they are and how much diversity matters to them. AP is right. I hope you don't mean about his anti-American tirade that he went on. Discussing denominations is more important than grooming gangs. That's what the orthobros say. Mustafa Kemal called about AP's speech, and all I heard was clapping and applause. I don't know who that is, but
That's Ataturk. He's
okay.
dead.
The actions of the British government and British police completely justifies armed rebellion. Well, they don't have. They're not allowed to have arms over there. They're
No,
completely
no, no,
harmless.
no. I'm not calling for armed rebellion. I'm calling for not armed rebellion.
I say it. I say it would. It would possibly be justified, but I'd kind of do that as more of a last resort. I do think you have some steps you can take right now, as far as your government is concerned. I'd be more of a fan of passive resistance in this situation. Millions of people saying, we're going to say whatever we want. We're going to call this stuff out and lock us up if you want. If you want to lock us all up, then do it. And they're not going to do it. But it is pretty bad. But as far as like grooming gangs and stuff, yeah, you do need some. You do need. Again, you had the English Defense League back in the day, and everyone just called them racist. But maybe people will be more open now to the idea of groups of men in areas protecting girls. AP is correct. Grow a pair and protect your girls. Yes, if there were 1 million Tommy Robinsons, things would be different in the UK. He is how to show that you care and fighting. Yeah, and guys, keep in mind, I mean, everything, put it this way, what could they actually do to you? What could they actually do to you if you start posting on Facebook things you're not allowed to post according to your government? They've done everything they possibly could to Tommy Robinson. He's more popular than ever. So as long as you just don't back down and you keep pushing, you eventually win, guys. You eventually win. Fun fact, the word nice originally meant foolish. The West made it a virtue. Remigration now. Can we get a Quran page ripped for what's going on in the UK? Thank you, David Wood, for teaching me over 20 refutations on the Quran. Get zooted Islam. Well, we aim to please here, guys. So, matter of fact, here we'll have a couple there. Couple Quran pages. I wonder what would the UK government do if you just like posted stuff ripping up Qurans? Will they come after you over that? Or is it just when you're saying something about Pakistanis? American civil rights movement worked partly because pics of people arrested. Peaceful protests were widely published. Stand up for justice, challenge the corrupt government. Yeah, it definitely helped that these things were reported. That's kind of one of the reasons I was saying that. Like, I understand if a girl doesn't want to come forward and go public with things, but actually hearing from victims themselves can be very, very, very powerful.
Dude, this is whoever made that super chat just a minute ago. That's very. I love looking up the etymology of words, and I was wondering if that is accurate. And over the centuries, nice underwent a remarkable shift in meaning, known as semantic amelioration, where a word's meaning becomes more positive over time. The Latin origin of the 13th century is necius, meaning ignorant or unaware. In the 14th century, it is absorbed into Middle English via Old French and means foolish, stupid, or senseless. Then it shifted to describe someone later on in the 15th and 17th centuries as someone overly concerned with their appearance or fussy about details. In William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, he uses nice to describe trivial, unimportant matters. Then, around the 18th and 19th centuries, being nice slowly comes to mean that you are precise or particular, which eventually evolves into meaning cultured, respectable, and ultimately the kind, pleasant definition we use today. This is very interesting. It's bears quite some hints on about how society has changed.
Pretty Crazy. Great title, Dr. Wood. Grooming for 1,400 years. That would be a good one. I will screenshot that just in case. We wanted to talk with AP. We're talking about might want to do something where we point out that the grooming gangs have been going on for 14 centuries.
I tweeted Islam started as a rape gang, and I could use that, but I think it might not do very well. I tend to be very direct with that stuff, and then YouTube starts censoring it.
That's 20 based off the Quran alone. See prior. Oh, the about arguments against Islam. People give government too much power and forget that government has the power. The people give it. Yes. Also remember our friend Allah Only Amazing God D Wood. They left Islam. Really? You hear that, AP? Allah Only Amazing God, who's been in the chat for a couple months now, has apparently left Islam. That is good to know. My dad said P if attacked. USA men are. My dad said P if attacked. USA men are clueless too. Oh, you mean if someone's trying to rape you? Then yeah. Oh, I mean, even better. I don't think it would be work with the grooming gang because, like, that is something that's taught if, like, it's a guy in an alley or something like that, or he grabs you or something like that. And it's actually number 2 if you can. It makes things awkward and can make things smelly, and you hope the guy just isn't aroused anymore and stuff like that. And there's no guarantee that will work. It's just something you can. It's just something you can do that could potentially deter someone. True Lies movie climax: while villain speaks live video threatening USA with nuclear attack, the cameraman says battery Aziz dead in camcorder. Oh yeah, that was classic. The guy, you never saw that, have you, AP?
No.
The group Crimson Jihad is recording their powerful message because they got like a nuclear weapon or something like that. And he wants to record their message to America about how Crimson Jihad cannot be stopped and stuff. And the guy starts giving this epic speech. Crimson Jihad will slay the unbelievers. And you see the cameraman, he sees battery dying, right? And all of a sudden he lowers the camera as this guy's giving this epic jihad speech. And he goes, sorry, battery Aziz. Oh, you need to watch that, man. That was classic. And you've got jihadis as the villains. Can't do that anymore. AP, step 1 to justice is disclosure. Keep talking. That's good.
I shall.
I often heard it said that Christ went to the cross willingly, so we should do the same, but we are in fact instructed to resist all evil at all times, in all places, in every way possible. There's a difference. There's a situation. If you're a martyr for Christ, that's one that's something where you might want to accept being a martyr for Christ. If there's nothing you can do about it, okay, then as a Christian, you might want to accept martyrdom in certain situations. I don't see what that has to do with not protecting a girl who's being gang raped by dudes. I see zero. In fact, if you wanted to make the connection, it would be that's a situation where you should be willing to lay down your life or suffer any consequences in order to protect the girl. In other words, if you get locked up for telling people what the problem is and stuff like that, and they lock you up for 2 years, you're kind of a different kind of martyr. You know what I mean? Norm MacDonald, the worst thing to come out of all this raping, blackmail, and cover-up is the Islamophobia. On a serious note, this is just Matthew 5:13 in action. I attend a Baptist church, and our pastor brought up Mayor Mamdani and called him a radical Muslim commie in Sunday morning service. Protestants are based. Yeah, something you're never going to hear in your Orthodox church, AP.
Well, let's say some Protestants.
Have you seen Tommy's presentation and Q&A in U.S. University? No, have not. That'd be interesting, though. I did not know that existed. I wouldn't mind going through that, AP. You should set that up. My dad's advice was, yeah. You're saying the advice was crap. No woman is number 2 during great. No, it's saying if you can, like if you have to go and the guy's trying to get your pants off and stuff like that, and you can. Keep in mind that again, there's no guarantee. It's just something that could throw a guy off. So anyway, that's not some foolproof plan. It's just anything that could possibly work. Try it.
Everyone should carry some self-defense tools and kits.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yep.
Strong
Pepper
stuff.
spray, anything like that.
And I know in the UK pepper spray is illegal, but you can find alternatives for that as well.
All right, let's check this out.
It occurs to me now, given the hate crime laws and the hate speech laws in the UK, if someone makes the accusation that, Mohammed committed some crime against girls, is the person making the accusation putting him or herself at risk of committing hate speech or a hate crime just by accusing someone who's Muslim or Pakistani of a crime?
Wait, who
Well,
started it?
they are certainly trying to shut down any.
Did he just copy you when he said Mohammed?
Yeah, I did that like the other day. I came up with a hypothetical name, and the hypothetical name I came up with was Muhammad, and then he did it. So we have to see when I said it and when he said it.
That's pretty messed up.
Because if he said that after me, he definitely copied me. If he said it before me, I definitely didn't copy him because I just saw this for the first time. And we would just both be geniuses. But we'll see. We'll have to check the timeline.
Speech towards Islam, any criticism of Islam. I don't understand why people are so afraid of Islam. I think it's an awful religion. It's violent, it's sexist. If you look at in the inquiry report, the rapes escalated around Eid. They would have Eid parties.
So Eid being the big Muslim holiday.
Yeah, and if you look at all the murders that's been committed and all the terrorist attacks, etc., there is a clear problem with Islam. There's plenty more details of that in the report, so I'll let you read it. But there's a lot of people scared. They're scared to speak up because they're losing jobs, they're going to prison. I know people that have not even been able to collect their children from school because of that. People have been arrested just for waving a flag. We're not even allowed to be white, proud, and British. We're not even allowed to be British and wave our flag. It's absolutely horrendous.
It was crazy that she could just say Islam is evil. And think, who's going to tell this woman, hey, shame on you for being racist against the religion that caused its adherents to think that it's perfectly okay to rape you because you're not one of them? Yeah, say it to her face, guys. Say it to her face. All you people who know you're just a racist if you have a problem with Islam. Say it to these 250,000 girls who are raped by these guys. And we've seen the stories over and over again about the guys who would make them make the girls lick their feet and constantly be telling them how they're inferior because they're not Muslims and stuff like that. Tell those girls how it's racist and Islamophobic to have a problem with Islam. That should be a rule. Anyone who wants to say that if someone has a problem with Islam, they must be racist and Islamophobes, they should have to say it in front of some of these victims. Just my thought.
What you just say is so scary too. The notion that you might not be allowed to pick your kids up from school if you call attention to the fact that Pakistani Muslims are raping kids. If you say, we need to protect kids from the group that is victimizing them, the British government will come to you and say, hey, you don't get your own kids. Now we're going to take your kids from you. It's cartoonishly villainous.
And think about what they do. You can't have your kids anymore because you're racist against Muslims. So we're going to send them to a care home where the grooming gangs will be able to rape your daughters.
Yeah, and as well, I think the mainstream media we need to call out them. In fact, I did this today. So there was a grooming gang story come out today. I went on a program called Good Morning Britain. It's a morning show. It was a live interview. And before I went on, I got told that I wasn't allowed to talk about the race of perpetrators. And I asked why. And he said, oh, it's for legal reasons. And I said, well, it's been proven in courts of law.
Yeah.
And, and also in reports.
Yeah.
There's
they're not
many
Irish
reports out there now. Yeah. And he said, oh, it's because of Ofcom. So what I did when I was on the live show, I called that out. And I said, why have you told me I'm not allowed to say that? I mean,
Based. You hear that, guys? That's why I said that was the original beginning. I cut off the beginning because they had it's the coming up. So I knew we were going to see it. But they told her, do not bring up the race of your rapists. And she says, why? And they said, legal reasons. Then during the live interview, she called them out and said, so why'd you tell me I'm not allowed to mention the race of the guys who raped me? And it's been shown in court, as Michael Knowles just pointed out. They ain't Irish. They ain't Irish. But guess what? If it was a bunch of Irish, if it was a bunch of Irish guys raping and gang raping girls, I bet you could point out that they're Irish. Whenever someone gets fall down drunk, I point out that they're Irish in a heartbeat.
This is how it's done. She's fearless. She says it. She does it. What can you possibly do to her?
I love it. It sucks that they only have a few people like this. They need a ton of people who just are not going to back down anymore.
I have so much respect for her, and people need to
she's
take
awesome.
her.
Yep, she's awesome.
I know. Yeah. And he said, oh, it's because of Ofcom. So what I did when I was on the live show, I called that out. And I said, why have you told me I'm not allowed to say that? I mean, the presenters didn't, they clearly didn't have a clue. But, we have to call that out because our mainstream media have such power. And I recently, in the last year, I was doing some journalism. Now, this is when all the protests and riots were going on. I'm not sure if you heard about the murders and the stabbings in Southport, horrific case. And I went down there and I interviewed people and I did no editing. I just allowed them to speak freely. And what they were saying is that they are scared for their children, for their women, for their country. And they've had enough of, immigrants coming in, of politicians not listening to them. And I was publishing that. And the mainstream media absolutely came for me because I was going against their narrative. And their narrative that they wanted to push is that all these people were far-right racist thugs, because that's what we get called every time we speak out to try and defend our children, women, or country. And, other activists such as Tommy Robinson, he got the blame for those riots. But as I say, this is what's happening now every time we try and speak out. And, to be called a racist.
Hey, just 1 second real quick. I just want to check this link that Black Angel posted. Is that her official channel? Looks like it's only been up for 8 months. I just want to make sure this isn't someone else's channel that they put up and started posting her. No, it's all her. So anyway, I hope it's her. But yeah, Black Angel guys just shared a link. You can click on that, and that is Sammy Woodhouse's channel. Let me just see here. Read the description. Presented documentaries. I am dedicated to leading with courage, compassion, and conviction, passionate about giving a platform to survivors, challenging injustice, and driving meaningful change in law and policy. On this channel, I share insight stories and updates from the front lines of the fight against abuse, corruption, and systemic failure, offering hope, awareness, and inspiration for those who need it most. And the link goes to our official channel. AP, she got a little bit of an issue here. She has under 2,000 subscribers. Hey guys,
Wait, is it the one UK Sammy? That is her channel. It is her channel. I just checked her Twitter account where she posted a link to this channel.
Good.
She said my new YouTube channel is now active. So, and she linked to that directly, which is the very same link that Black Angel shared as well.
All right, guys. So that is Sammy Woodhouse's YouTube channel right there. Black Angel, go ahead and post that one more time. Everyone go subscribe right now. She's got under 2,000 subscribers. She needs... well, let's definitely get over. Let's definitely get her over 2,000. Let's definitely get her over. Matter of fact, how am I not taking my own advice and subscribing right now?
Terrible.
Also, guys, I normally don't like go out and invite people to my channel. I'll normally say, normally people say, hey, I'd like to talk to you, or someone else says, hey, could you have this person on your show or something like that? But I'm happy watching people's interviews on other channels, and then we just watch the interviews from other channels. But AP, you might want to contact her, because we can definitely help her get more subscribers on YouTube, which will help her with every video she posts if she gets more people watching her stuff. So
you are correct. I will reach out to her.
Let's make that a goal. Let's make that a goal, guys. We're going to help her, because she's got a good following on X. She's got a good following on X. I think she's got over 200,000 people, but she has under 100th of that on YouTube. But that's where we come in, guys. So again, everyone click on that and subscribe. Let's get that over. Okay, cool. It's already up a bunch. It's at 1.99 thousand. It was just 1.89. So that's over 100 people already. Get a couple more, and let's see. Yeah, AP, definitely send her a message. We can help her with that. All right, 2,000, guys. We got her to 2,000. Thanks, everyone. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe. Also, check out some of her videos. Check out some of her videos afterwards. She's interviewing people and so on, so it should be cool stuff. So, yep, check out the video. And yeah, AP, send her a message. Get her, just invite her on your channel, and we'll do a big promo for her. Or you can just interview her by yourself. That's cool too.
I'm setting up a whole new setup for conversations to have. So that would be I could invite her for that as well. So it would be nice.
You're in the U.S., AP. She's in the U.K. Do you see the problem for sitting down with her? Do you see the problem there? You see the problem, right?
I don't see a problem at all.
Yeah. If you want to do something the next time you go to the UK, sit down for an interview. All right.
Used to actually mean something. If somebody called you that, it'd be like, oh my God. Now it's almost like it's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
And, all this.
Wait, what's she saying? Racist or something like this, or far right or something? Let's see.
To be called a racist, used to actually mean something. If somebody called you that, it'd be like, oh my God. Now it's almost like it's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
And, all this. It's all this has just been diluted, and people say that the government say that people like me are causing division. No, I'm not. It's the politicians causing the division, because it was them that was lying to the people about what was going on, and they weren't telling the truth. And what they didn't know is that I was actually in contact with family members at that time. Now, in that particular case, one of the grandfathers of the children actually went on to kill himself because he had no support. And just before he did that, I was actually one of the last persons that I spoke to. He wanted to go against Keir Starmer and our government. So people feel they're just not being listened to. And that's why people are getting angry. This is why people are going out on the streets. And they've got every right to...
You hear that? The guys killing themselves. They feel so hopeless in the UK.
Be angry. Look at what's happening to our children, to our country. Look at all the people they're bringing in. They're handing out hotels and money, and, they're having a better, life than most people. We've got veterans on the streets, homeless.
So why are they doing it? I mean, I can give the kind of basic answers, which is they have white guilt. They hate their own country. The UK has a below replacement birth rate, and they want to prop up the welfare state with immigrants. They've been doing the same thing in our country too. But you would think that at a certain point you'd get past that, and you'd say, okay, well, look, these people are raping and beating and murdering our girls, and they're committing all sorts of crimes and stabbings. And so, you know what? This is too much. The people keep voting again and again and again, from the Brexit to election after election. They want to get these people out of here. They not only do they not get the people out of there, they keep bringing more and more of them in. So how do you explain it? Why is the government so unresponsive to the facts of what's happening and to what the people want?
I'll be honest, I have no idea. But when I'm talking to people, it's the reasons of what you've said. But it's just I don't even know what to say, if I'm honest, because it's almost as if they're encouraging it. When it's like they're promoting to come, when they know they don't have a clue who these people are. They don't know if they're safe. They have no interest in.
Little side note, guys. In case this for people who are watching, for people who are watching later, but I added the link to the description. Subscribe to UK Sammy. Let me just make sure the link works. Sometimes it doesn't. Looks right, and okay, yes, goes to our channel. All right, so got the subscribe link. Got the subscribe link in the description box. All right.
Living amongst the British people, our way of life, it's almost as if it's just a complete takeover, a takeover of the United Kingdom.
So what's the solution? Because I as you know, I was just in the UK. I get to the UK, I don't know, every year or two. And more and more, it does seem to be Londonistan when I get there. I was speaking to a British friend of mine before I landed. He said, "Oh, Michael, I'm going to teach you a few useful phrases when you get on the ground here in the UK. When you want to say hello to someone, you say Assalamu alaikum." Also, he was just mentioning a bunch of Islamic.
That's what Alex O'Connor said. In our debate, he said something. He said something. I don't remember. Greetings, blah blah blah, or as we say in the UK, assalamu alaikum. That's funny.
Arabic phrases, and increasingly that seems to be the case. So, what do you do? It strikes me that what a lot of the politicians are doing, even beyond Labour hating its own people and whatever, even the more practical politicians who might want to do something about it, are they just looking at the numbers and they're saying, look, there are too many Muslims here. They vote as a bloc. We can't be Islamophobic or we'll lose elections. Britain's sunk. We have to look the other way on the grooming gangs, and we have to appeal to a foreign culture. Is that basically what they're concluding?
Yeah, that's what pretty much most of them are doing. The only person that really seems to be standing up to this is MP Rupert Lowe. That's why I've got so much respect for him. But we need to put a stop on immigration, and we need to deport as many people as possible, and that will take millions. It's millions. Some people.
Millions.
She's starting to sound like you, AP.
Millions have to be deported. Millions. Millions.
I would start with everyone in the rapist community. And keep in mind, guys, that doesn't just include the rapists, because in some of these communities, everyone knew it was happening. And so they were either raping or they were quiet about it.
It's not going to be an easy job.
Be respectful. You can't just label them rapist. You must refer to them as people who rape. People who engage in non-consensual sexual activities.
How about consent challenged? I'm trying to think. We got to come up with terms for rapists that aren't offensive to the rapist.
You have to be polite to them, respect them.
It's going to be hard to do it, but it's got to be done. It's absolutely got to be done. And we need more people like MP Rupert Lowe. Now, he's actually started Restore Britain. So this is a new political party. There's actually a by-election on at the moment in Makerfield. So, that party needs to grow. But I personally think there's only that party that is strong enough and determined enough to do what this country needs to be done. And we need to go full force at Islam, which no political party is willing to do apart from Restore Britain.
Right.
What was the other party?
I like her more and more and more, man.
Yeah, she's pretty based. So she's talking about Restore Britain. What was the other? What was the one before that? Reform? Is that the one before that?
What do you mean before that?
I'm saying, I've mentioned this before. Every 2 or 3 years, there's some new party that comes along and says, we'll deal with the problem. And then a couple years later, they say, no, not that party, then this new party.
No, this is the first time that actually that parties have actually taken the place of the Conservative Party. And so Reform UK is the major party that is challenging the Conservatives, and they're currently leading in all the polls. So in the sense, in the next general elections, they are expected to be the number one party, Reform UK, because people have completely lost trust in the Conservative Party.
As they should.
Because they suck, to be very honest.
They suck too.
However, the alternative to that is, among those who dissent, is Restore Britain, which is led by Rupert Lowe, the very same guy who led and published the rape gang inquiry. And those who vote for Restore Britain generally think that Reform UK is not good enough, that they think that Reform UK is kind of like just an alternative to the Conservative Party, that they're not actually good enough to do all the things that people want to do. So Restore Britain is the other choice that people have. And many of those people who want more clear, hardline solutions to all these problems tend to be supportive of Restore Britain. I have my own views on this, but I don't want to speak on parties in the UK.
Yeah, you don't know anything. You don't know what you're talking about.
I don't have any authority in this matter.
That's right, you don't.
I get it. I actually get the political calculation, which is even if you say, look, I'm as English as James II or something, but I need to win elections in order to get a majority in parliament. So I'm going to have to bring Muslims into the party, which means that I can't be so hardcore against Islam, which then creates this fear, which is, well, then you're not going to take on the real issue of the grooming gangs and of the cultural takeover and of the Islamification of the country. I see the calculation.
That is the problem. And you might look and you say, okay, overall, Muslims are only like, 6.5% of the UK population and so on. Here's the thing. In the major cities, that's different. So when you end up with like 6.5%, that's, taking all the rural areas and stuff in the whole UK. The major cities, you're going to have a serious problem winning elections if you have a problem with Islam. So that is and by the way, guys, that's why you need a ton of deportations. That's the reason. You can't if you brought in so many people that you can't even stop gang rapists now because of the powerful voting bloc, you need to deport enough of that voting bloc to where they don't control your elections.
This kind of defeatist attitude of managing decline. I get it. It's just it's so depressing. So for the people who don't understand what the stakes are, obviously this is a very, very lengthy report. We can't get through all of it. But what are the highlights? I mean, if you were to communicate with a Brit or a sympathetic American or European who just doesn't understand the scope, the enormity of it, what are the big takeaways from the report?
I was going to stop it here, but because there's about 14 minutes left. But let's get what she initially says here.
I see a discussion here in the chat because of what I just said. So I must say I take one thing back. So I do not want to speak on anything regarding Reform UK versus Restore Britain. I have to say, however. Nobody in the UK should be voting for the Conservative Party. No single person this should be a given. You should be smart and start out right there. There is no excuse possible that could justify at this point voting for those idiots, voting for those corrupt people who have caused all of this.
Yeah, so they were a major part. They were a major part in the mass migration situation. But also, I mean, think about it. Like the sort of core concept of a conservative. That doesn't mean this is what the political party ends up doing and so on. But like the core idea of a conservative party is you're keeping good things from changing, right? You want to preserve, you want to conserve the good things about your society and not let some weirdo ruin them. Okay, well, what if your society becomes the world haven for rapists? What are you going to conserve then? What do you conserve? You've created a nation where rapists thrive and rape girls with impunity. You want to conserve the great job you've done? No. Now that's where you need completely. That's where you need to restore, right? You need to restore. There's no conserving at that point. You need to restore. So I at least get the terms.
Well, I would say to them that they are, a minimum of 250,000 children that have been trafficked around the United Kingdom from as early as the 1950s. Usually from age of 11, they've been groomed, abused, raped, tortured, trafficked, murdered, criminalised, impregnated, blamed. The authorities turned a blind eye due to race and religion because the majority of the perpetrators were Pakistani Muslim. There was children also as young as 4 years old that were sold by their own mothers. Professionals turned a blind eye. They was directly involved in the rapes. Children were raped by dogs. They were locked in cages. The most horrific of torture. But I think every single person, not just in the UK, but around the world needs to read this part, because I promise you right now, this is not just a problem for the United Kingdom. It is a problem for different countries around the world. Exploitation of children happens absolutely everywhere.
What?
Yeah, it does. And I remember, guys, and maybe you guys, Summer, but I remember reading, not to this extent and not everywhere, but I remember stories about this from Australia, from various places in Scandinavia where it wasn't primarily Pakistanis. It was other Muslims from other Muslim immigrants from other places and so on. But I remember this going back like 2 decades, these stories from different parts of the world. UK is just because of the extent and because of the government complicity in all of it, it's getting more attention. But yeah, wherever Islam goes, you end up with this sort of thing. Why? Well, might have something to do with the teachings of Islam. All right, guys, that goes on for about another 13 or 14 minutes. So link, what's up?
Possibly.
What?
Possibly might have something to do with the teachings of Islam.
It's theoretically possible.
We cannot jump to any conclusions.
Yeah, we don't want to jump to any conclusions. We've got a working hypothesis that when you take a child molesting, murdering rapist as your pattern of conduct in your religion, it might lead to other people molesting children and raping people. It's a theory. It's a theory we've got. We'll have to see how our theory lines up with the data. But that's a theory.
It is the sound hypothesis.
I think it's a pretty good hypothesis. Anyway, let's take these super chats. We'll jump out. I've seen Christ's example used to advocate for being doormats was my point. Of course, if it's death or apostasy, you accept God's will. No, we understand your point. Yeah. I was just sharing my thoughts on that for anyone who's been influenced by that. Jesus instructs us to carry self-protection. Luke 22:36, that whoever has no sword should sell his garment and buy one. Sword translates to today as mace, pepper spray, or firearm. Well, not in the UK. The British government and British police are so far gone, they threaten to arrest and extradite Americans for spicy online posts. Hey, British government, come get us. Come get us and see what happens to you. Remember the last time you guys tried to come over here and have your way with the United States of America? Didn't go so well, did it? Didn't go so well. And that's back when you were the most powerful nation in the world. How you feeling now? You feeling froggy? If you're feeling froggy, just jump, UK. See what happens. Anyway, what?
The That was terrible.
That was pretty lame. This girl is 1,000,000 times braver than me. Requesting prayers for England and UK's mass conversion back to Christianity. We would massively appreciate all the prayers we can get. Migration started after World War II. Shortage of men happened after the war. Britain imported Pakistanis. So, irony, Hitler is responsible for mass migration. Don't tell AP that. He'll be like, oh, but his speeches are so great. What? And we've got Minnie Awad, Louisville, Kentucky, already here. Uh-oh. Louisville, Kentucky. All right. Any final thoughts or anything you want to tell anyone, AP?
No, we'll be live tomorrow to talk about how beautiful Islam is.
Oh, no, we got a problem, man.
What?
I'm speaking at 8 p.m. tomorrow.
At 8 p.m. tomorrow?
At 8 p.m. Exactly at 8 p.m.
What are you speaking?
That's that Eastern Orthodox online conference. You should, hey, you should go live. You should go live for the entire thing and just react to everything and make fun of it.
That'd be hilarious.
No, I'm scheduled to speak at 8. I'm just talking about the Orthobros and their tactics and what losers they are. So I'm talking about the Orthobros, which, you're not going to believe this, I've actually looked. These guys actually have some problems with some actual Orthodox leaders, man.
I know.
They really don't like that guy you keep bringing up, that Father Damick dude.
I know.
They don't like that dude, man.
Which makes me like him even more.
So anyway, I'm talking about the Orthobros. So anyway, I speak at 8 about the Orthobros. Then there's a Q&A afterwards with everyone. It would be funny if you were live the entire time making fun of it, and then I just jump in when I'm done. But
that would be hilarious.
Or you could bring someone else on. Bring on Ash or something like that.
That'd be hilarious. No, I'll just do a live stream on my channel on Sunday. So no live stream for you on Sunday because you blew your chance by making an anti-orthodoxy speech.
That is fair. That is fair. So guys, normally we go live on AP's channel on Saturday and on my channel on Sunday. But since I'm speaking tomorrow, AP's live stream is canceled, even though I gave him a perfectly good plan. So we'll be live on AP's channel on Sunday discussing whatever silly thing he finds interesting that day.
I might even make the plan with you that you and I will go live on Sunday, but then cancel the live stream with you and invite an Orthodox person instead to review what you said.
Now, that would be funny. Except I seriously don't think you'll be disagreeing with much I'm saying about the Orthobros, unless you're going full Orthobro now.
That's true.
But these guys are a disease. And I'm the cure.
They are. All right.
Just trying to think. Anything else? So
Anything
Sunday,
else?
your channel. We might want to check out Bobby's perspective, man. Might want to check out Bobby's perspective. Got to help these guys every now and then.
Nobody cares about Bobby's perspective.
Everyone watches Bobby's perspective all day, every day. Let's see. Let's check before.
Checking his channel stats. He posts videos every day, and he's barely getting any views. This is the funny thing that happens to these guys. They start showing interest in Islam and start
to get
posting
attention,
videos.
And it works.
Yeah,
it works to get attention.
I read the Quran as a non-Muslim. Here are my thoughts.
Here's my reaction. And then they cheer them.
then
Hey, you're so great. Oh, yeah. Come on, brother. Oh, yeah. Great. And then, ooh, this really works.
Once they convert to Islam, suddenly everything drops. They're no longer interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's very funny.
Yep. Sad life. Sad life. That's happening everywhere. That's all over TikTok. That happens over and over again on TikTok. Yep. Guys, you just have to... If you're trying to grift, you just have to be the perpetual. Oh, I'm really interested in Islam. It's looking base, but I'm just not quite there yet. maybe some more super chats and I might become a little more interested. Share this video a little bit more.
More and more super chats in. Come on, keep doing it.
Smart.
I'm about to convert.
And what is this? David, they burned the presidential mansion in Washington, D.C. last time. Don't say that. Ha! That was back when they were the most powerful nation in the world. It is not so. Let them try it. Let them try. Come to the United States and burn anything. I'm talking about a sheet of paper. Try it, UK. See what happens. Because you might get embarrassed. All right, everyone. Conference on Eastern Orthodoxy tomorrow at 1. And this is mainly the result of the Orthobros demanding and saying, you're all grifters unless you debate the true church. And so people put together their thoughts on various topics within Eastern Orthodoxy. And I was asked to speak on the Orthobros, AP's heroes.
Fair enough. I still think we should watch the thing at some point, the conversation between Gavin Ortland and
I definitely want to watch it.
Stephen DeYoung.
What did they debate? The true church?
Yeah.
We definitely have to watch that because I'm debating Jay Dyer on that. So I at least need to understand what their case for being the true church is.
It is kind of weird because the whole time they were kind of praising each other. It's like, what are you doing? You're supposed to fight.
You're great. No, you're great. No, you're so based. No, you're based. Okay, guys, you're supposed to be blasting each other. Hey, I'll guarantee you, when me and Jay Dyer debate, ain't nobody praising the other guy. Nobody.
Nice.
It will be nothing but rage and fire. All right, guys. Catch y'all later. Oh, and if you haven't subscribed to Sammy Woodhouse's channel, link is in the description. Catch y'all next
Subscribe to Sammy Woodhouse. The link is in the description. Support her. She's fantastic. And God bless y'all.
Yeah.
And God bless you.
And again, guys, go over to her channel and watch a video. Watch one of her interviews. And if you like it, go ahead and share it. That's how you kind of jumpstart a channel. All right. Catch y'all next time.